There are currently 33 North American bird species in steep decline, which means that in the last 4 decades, over half their population has been lost. There isn't just one type of bird that is affected by this. As you can see, it ranges from things such as the common grackle, which you probably see every day, to the snowy owl, which is something that you really don't see too much. Also, it is estimated that 5 billion birds die annually, but out of those 5 billion, most of them are not dying from natural cause. So, the biggest impact on birds is cats. It's estimated that 2.4 billion birds are killed annually by cats, which is roughly half of the birds that are killed annually, so that's definitely a big number. They are the largest threat over wind turbines, pesticides, and collisions, which are some things that people think about often that affect the bird populations. And actually, an individual feral cat is capable of killing up to 100 birds a year, which is a large number when you think about how many feral cats are wandering the streets. The feral cat population is currently estimated at 70 million, but the problem is that we don't know how many outdoor cats that people have as pets there are in the United States right now, so there isn't really an accurate number of how many cats are really out there. But if you think about it, there really are cats in every residential area in the U.S. and even more rural areas and city areas as well. Something that a lot of people don't know is that domestic cats are actually an invasive species in the United States, meaning they don't belong in our ecosystem here. They're actually originating from Europe and Africa, so the species that they're hunting are better equipped to deal with the cat hunting than the birds are here. The birds here the cats aren't a predator that they're used to seeing, so smaller birds are used to hawks or other larger birds, but they're not used to the cats, so they really have no way to defend themselves from that. So as I said before, cats are not a natural predator in the U.S., so the birds have no defense and they are not prepared. Birds especially make nests in places that will be hidden from the natural predators, so they'll be hidden in low bushes so that a hawk won't be able to find them, but this means that they'll probably be very visible to a cat, which means their nest is not safe. Also, in the late spring to early summer, it's fledgling season, which means that the baby birds are starting to come out of their nests. They're not able to fly yet, so they're just hopping around on the ground. They tend to be pretty loud as well because they're calling for their parents to feed them. So this pretty much makes them a huge target for cats. There's almost no way to miss them because they're flapping around in the middle of an open area screaming. So fledglings often fall prey to the cats, and they usually aren't able to escape it. So a lot of times people will see a bird escape from a cat attacking it, and even though they may think that the bird is going to be fine and it's going to escape, the chance of survival of that bird is extremely low. Cat saliva contains bacteria called Pasteurella multoxida, as well as many other bacteria, but this one in particular is extremely important. Once it gets into the bird's system, it generally causes them to become very ill with septicemia, and usually they will die within 24 hours. When people find birds that are affected by this, they'll be pretty lethargic and not really reacting to anything. The problem with birds is once they're showing symptoms such as this, the survival rate for them is extremely low, so once they're really showing symptoms, it's pretty much too late to be able to treat them. There are a lot of things that people think are a solution to cats hunting birds that are out there, but most of them don't work. So the first one that people think is that if your cat is well fed, it won't hunt birds. This is 100% not true. A lot of times cats won't hunt to even have something to eat. They hunt as a sport. It's enjoyment for them. It's how they get entertainment and some exercise. So regardless of how much your cat is eating, even if they've had a full bowl of food that day, they probably will still hunt birds. The other thing is that they say a bell on a cat collar will warn the birds, and then the bird will fly away, but this isn't always true. Birds don't associate the sound of the bell with imminent danger, so they won't fly away. They might ignore it, or they could cause them to fly away, but it's not 100%. Also, it's possible for the cats to learn how to move without the bell ringing and be able to sneak up on a bird and attack them. So the bell does not work. And then the biggest thing that people think that will solve the cat problem is trap, neuter, release program. So trap, neuter, release is when stray cats are trapped, they neuter them, and then they release them back into the wild in hopes that the feral cat population will come back down. This hasn't been proven effective, and you put the cats back out into the wild, so you're not protecting the birds. So you may have neutered the cat, but it's still out in the wild, able to hunt birds probably for another couple years. So really, the birds aren't affected by this. So as I said before, there's a lot of problems with the trap neuter release program. So while they are neutering the cats, they won't be able to reproduce then, but they're still releasing them back into the wild, which means that there's no change in the amount of cats that are hunting birds. Also, there's constantly new cats that are being abandoned and put out, so there's no way for these programs to keep up with the amount of cats that are constantly just being left in the wild. So pretty much, they're spending money to neuter cats while new cats are coming in and still are able to breed, so there's just too many cats being put out into the wild to keep up with it. And since they can't really make an impact with this, it's pretty costly, and it just wastes a lot of time, especially from veterinarians who could be helping other animals. So there's really no solution that's going to save the bird populations in even a few years. It's probably going to take a very long time to be able to fix the problem that the United States has with wild cats. But there are a couple of solutions that can be implemented in communities that can help out. So the first and the most important thing is education. A lot of people don't know that their cats are capable of injuring this many birds, and they don't believe that their cat would just because they think they have a nice cat that's not going to hunt. So educating them that it's just the natural instinct of cats to do that is really important. Also letting them know that cats are an invasive species is important because not a lot of people know that. They just assume that cats like to hunt, so I should let my cat out because they like to hunt and that should be fine, even though it's really not because it's detrimental to wildlife. And then another solution is catios, which I will explain a little bit later on. So catio is an outdoor enclosed space designed specifically for cats, and these are really cool because they let the cats outside without allowing them to hunt wildlife. So it's helping the bird populations and all other wildlife as well. They're also good because they keep cats mentally stimulated. They give them a space to have enrichment items. And also, there's a lot of different styles of catios. There's ones that can go on apartment patios, houses. There's ones in windows. And also, they are pretty simple to create yourself with some things you could pick up at a home improvement store. So they are pretty cost effective because of that, and almost everyone can have them. So below there are pictures of an apartment catio that's on a small porch, and then next to that is a picture of a window catio. So that's the least space requiring one. You just stick them in the window and the cat can go out of the window and hang out in there. Many people probably are wondering, why would you get a catio if you can let your cat outside? Because many people really don't care about the wildlife populations. So there are also other benefits to having a catio. So outdoor cats have a significantly reduced lifespan. An outdoor cat generally lives 3 to 5 years, while indoor cats live 15 to 17. So if you want a cat that's going to live a long time and be around for a while, it's better to keep them indoors by far. There's less harm that could happen to them out there. An outdoor cat will be exposed to weather, they'll be exposed to disease, and a lot of times they'll be hit by cars or involved in other accidents such as that. There's also a chance that they'll end up in a shelter because someone may not know that they're a pet. Also, cats pick up and spread zoonotic diseases, which means there are diseases that your cat can pick up outdoors, and if you let them back inside, they can pass those diseases to you, and some of them can be pretty detrimental, such as toxoplasmosis. It can cause organ failure. It's pretty serious. Also, they can track fleas and ticks back into your home, which no one wants, especially if other pets you keep indoors, they can pass them to that. And the last thing is that when you put your cat in a catio, you know that your cat's safe, so nothing's going to happen to them out there. Whereas if you put them in the wild, you really don't know what's going to happen until they come back that night, so you don't know if they're safe.